Hi everyone! In this video, we will subtract rational expressions with a common denominator. Simplify m squared minus 3m over m squared minus 25 minus 10 over m squared minus 25. When we have fractions that we're trying to combine with a subtract or an addition sign, and the denominators are the same, we can go ahead and just subtract. We must have a common denominator to add and subtract. So in this case, we can just go ahead and move forward with that. So we'll subtract the numerators, m squared minus 3m minus 10, and we keep the same common denominator that we needed to combine them. Now that we've gone ahead and combined them, we're going to see if we can simplify this by factoring the numerator and the denominator to see if we have any common factors. And so let's go ahead and we'll do the numerator first. M squared minus 3m minus 10. We'll look for factors of c, which is 10. 10 has factors of 1 times 10 and 2 times 5, and that's it. Now we look at the signs. The last sign is negative. This tells us that the signs will be different of the factors. One will be positive and one will be negative. We look at the sign of the middle term, it's a negative, so that tells us that the larger of the two factors will be the negative. So we'll fill in the larger side of our factors with a negative sign and the smaller side with a positive sign. Now we need to find a combination that will give us negative 3, and positive 2 minus 5 does give us negative 3. So we replace the middle with m squared with our plus 2m, our two factors, minus 5m, and we keep the negative 10. Now we'll go ahead and group the first two and the last two. The first two, the greatest common factor is m. So we have m plus 2 left over. And the greatest common factor of the second two is a negative 5. And factoring that out, we get an m plus 2. Now that we factored out the greatest common factor, we'll factor out the greatest common factor again. In this case, the binomial m plus 2, which leaves us with m minus 5. Now let's go ahead and factor the denominator, which is m squared minus 25. This follows the pattern of a square minus a square, or a difference of squares. To factor this, we'll factor it into two binomials, taking the square root of the first one, and it goes into the first position of both binomials. So we have m and m. Then we square root the second, and it will go into the second position of both binomials. The square root of 25 is 5, and then one is positive and one is negative, and it's all factored. So we can replace our original with the factored form of both of these, m plus 2 and m minus 5 for the numerator, and m plus 5 times m minus 5 for the denominator. Now we'll look for anything in common that we can simplify, and because we have m minus 5 and m minus 5, those will cancel, leaving us with m plus 2 over m plus 5. And now we're all done.